Hey everybody. So, starting from the second night of Pesach until Shavuot, we do Svira to Omer. We count the days of the Omer, the period from Pesach to Shavuot. 7 weeks, 7 days times 7 weeks, 49 days. The 50th day becomes Shavuot, the holiday of Shavuot. And that's the mitzvah. It's a very simple mitzvah. You say a bracha, you say the blessing, and you count whatever day that happens to be. Okay. If you look in the Siddur, however, about counting the Omer, I'll hold it up. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. But in addition to the blessings, you have like this little writing over here. So for instance, on the first day, it says, Chesed sheba chesed. Chesed is kindness. And the second day is Gevura sheba chesed. Gevura is power. Power within kindness. And the first day is kindness within kindness. So what is this referring to? So there are 7 different attributes. And they're attributes of God, but they're also reflective of the forefathers and famous individuals in Judaism: Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David, and Yosef. Not in that order. I kind of mixed it up there, those last 2. And so, for instance, day 1, the theme of day 1 is chesed, which is kindness, because that's the most fundamental thing. The Talmud says, Olam chesed yibaneh. The world is built on kindness. The very creation itself is an act of kindness, of chesed, because God doesn't need anything. He's all powerful. He's all knowing. He's all giving. He's all everything. He doesn't need anything in any real sense from us. So therefore, the act of creation is a total act of chesed, of kindness. And so therefore, it's very logical that the quality of the first Jew, of the first of the forefathers, Avraham, chesed, that was what he was famous for. Isaac, on the other hand, represented Gevura. Gevura is power or judgment. He's the second of the forefathers. And so what it does in the Sfira to Omer, when we count it, it shows how each of these 7 qualities interact with one another and to themselves. So like I said, chesed sheba chesed, kindness of kindness, or chesed sheba gvura, kindness within power or judgment. And so what is this getting at? What can we extract from this? There's certainly Kabbalistic, mystical meanings behind it. But on a more pragmatic level, what can we get from it? So it's showing that you can't be one-dimensional. You see, everyone is born with certain qualities, certain instincts, certain things that come very easy to them. And so, for instance, going back to Abraham, the first Jew, chesed, kindness, that was part of who he is and what he was born with. But if you look at the stories, his tests, they're all associated with the opposite of that character trait of kindness and giving. For instance, he has to split from his nephew Lot. There's a conflict that goes on. And so here, normally, the normal relationship is you want to be with family, you want to help family, you want to give to family. And what happens with Avraham? He says, hey, me and you got to go our separate ways. And there are more dramatic ones. For instance, he's told by his wife, and God says, listen to her, kick out his wife and his own son Ishmael. I mean, that's the opposite of chesed. That's the opposite of the natural tendency of a father wanting to care and give to his child, is to push him out of the household. And so these ideas here are showing that you can't just go with what you're born with. You have to be able to incorporate qualities that are almost against what you naturally feel like. And so there's a simple lesson, I think, that we could derive from this is in life, you just can't be one-dimensional. You can't just go with one particular thing. You raise your children, for instance, and of course there has to be chesed sheba chesed. There has to be this quality of good, abundant giving, only giving. But then there's times where there has to be chesed sheba gvura, gvura sheba chesed, where you got to lay down the law. And you got to do it in a nice way. So on the one hand, you're being kind and giving to them. On the other hand, you have to discipline them. And sometimes there's gvura sheba gvura, where it's totally and only things have gone too far. We got to put things back into place, and we got to make sure that we're just be very, very strict. And so these different qualities, I haven't gone through all of them. I'm just giving a couple examples. But again, I think the basic lesson that we could take from this is that there's a whole bunch of different qualities and character traits. And you have to know going through life is always kind of monitoring and keeping a sense of what should I be doing right now? What does this situation call for right now? What's the best thing that I could do? Is it giving or is it not giving? Is it being harsh and being very judgmental or letting things slide? It changes. You can't just stick to one thing. It changes based on the situation. Simple idea that we can get from this little add-on to the Sfira to Omer, the counting of the Omer that we're presently in the midst of doing. Have a good Shabbat.